negativity in our relationships that the enemy wants to use to divide us.
Wow.
We check in on what we are assuming, and we take the power away from the assumption. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 5 of the 2 = 1 podcast. Jimmy and Irene Rollins here. I love what we get to do together, babe, with XO Marriage on the XO Marriage platform.
Absolutely.
Yes. So grateful, so honored. And we have been in this amazing series, per se, where we're talking about how to fight fair.
How to have a good fight.
How to have a good one. First of all, there's no perfect marriage. There's no marriage that doesn't have conflict or fights or arguments or disagreements. So let's check in and figure out how to do this and do it well. So our disagreements don't divide us, but kind of bring us together.
Absolutely.
You know?
Your differences don't have to divide you. Your differences can complete you. They can bring you together to have a marriage made one.
Yeah.
A marriage of love, laughter, and longevity. I'm excited about this topic because you need to do better in this one.
Oh my gosh.
You need to do better because this is on you. I'm joking. Irene literally taught me everything there is to know about marriage.
Oh no.
So we're going to talk about something that is causing divorce. We're going to talk about something that is causing people to fight, not to get over things, to make up scripts, of their spouse, to make up scripts of people's intentions and one another's intentions. And this topic is a hot one. This one is reality checking. Why? Because many of us aren't operating in our marriages, our emotions, our thoughts, our responses based off of reality. We are operating based off of assumptions.
Yep. We make up scripts in our head that we believe what someone else is thinking.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my biggest pet peeves. Don't assume what I'm thinking. Ask me what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Don't assume, or you'll make an what of yourself? The first three letters of the word, of the word assumption. And so, we really play ourselves. We are not living in reality when we believe something that we haven't checked in to see if it's true. The 10 Commandments, it literally says in the 10 Commandments, I used to wonder what this meant. Don't bear false witness against your brother or sister, right?
Yeah.
It's in the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, to not make up something.
Not make up something.
Oof.
What are we thinking when we literally are telling our spouse that how they feel?
That's great.
What you are thinking. This is what you're thinking about me. Like, you can't go into my mind and decide what I'm thinking. That's just false witness.
It is.
When I saw it from that perspective, it kind of convicted me and helped me realize, I got to work on this. I got to check in and see what Jimmy's thinking.
Wow.
Why don't I ask him instead of just making up this script and believing it?
I agree. And I this is something that I don't care what stage of marriage you're in. If you're a newlywed, if you've been married, 2 to 5 years, if you've been married 10 years, 40 years, it is so easy to operate off of a false reality, a false narrative, a screwed up script about your spouse, about their intentions, about what they meant by what they didn't say, about their body language. That's a big thing for us, even still today. Like you and your body language, I'm just telling you right now, girl, you are a professor of body language.
Well, you know what? I think the same thing of you.
I do. I own mine.
Very
you don't own yours,
expressive. I 100% understand.
I'd be like, ah.
I understand that. I'm super excited. I talk with my hands.
You do?
I like to call it, I've learned over the years that I have to pastor my face. That means just regulating the body language so that my outside expresses the same as my inside.
Yeah. So fake it to me, what you're saying. You'll be mad at me, but just kind of like, hi, I love you. No.
There are times when you're assuming that I'm kind of distant, but on the inside, I'm feeling like I want to connect with Jimmy Rollins. I want to love on him, but I'm not showing it on the outside.
Wow.
So it's like I operate in extremes, right?
Yeah.
You have no idea, because you can't read my mind, that I really want a hug from you.
Yeah.
Unless I go and I actually do it, instead of making an assumption that Irene seems so standoffish. She doesn't want to be near me. She doesn't want to give me affection. And you're assuming, and then it actually makes us more distant.
It does. You know what I think too? A lot of assumptions, they come from the consumption of, social media, the consumption of, these romance novels, right? And, someone cheated on someone in the romance novel, or, you need to watch your man's phone. And I get all that. And that's real. Like, there are real situations out there. But can we not assume that our spouse is every woman? Can we not assume that our spouse is every man?
Like generalizing them.
And then just generalizing and assuming the worst about them, or assuming, that they're just like everyone else. And I think the closer we get with one another, the less assumptions that we should have, and really have reality of creating this new narrative, not a false narrative. And I think there are a lot of marriages that fights are killing it. The romance are killing the marriage or the marital vibe because of Assumicide.
Yeah.
Assumicide.
Literally, people
killing
are committing Assumicide because we're not giving our spouse the generous thought. That's what I like to call it. I like to give you the generous thought. If I'm struggling with giving you the benefit of the doubt, I really need to consider what is wrong? What's going on that I am not giving you the generous thought and assuming the worst out of you? I don't go to Jimmy to blame. I have to go in internally and ask myself, what is coming up for me that I'm so negative right now?
Wow.
That I'm skewing to the worst case scenario. I'm catastrophizing. I'm awfulizing. My emotions need to be regulated and checked, not what's happening with you. It's me. I got to own the fact that I'm making assumptions about you, and they're not good ones.
Wow.
And it's based off negative. You know how I've fought that in the past?
Wow.
I literally went into my husband-loving Pinterest file and just started affirming myself about you. Like, Jimmy loves me, like, just how to communicate, like stuff that's all centered around
He's
love.
got my best intentions in mind.
Yes, my husband
He's
loves
provided
me.
safety for me.
Yes, like
he's a great lover.
he sees
He's
me.
strong and has abs. I'm
so
sorry. I
funny.
ain't got no abs. I got a keg.
But
anyway,
I love your keg, baby.
come on, girl.
Yeah,
Come on,
it might
girl.
be the
It's
alcoholism,
dad bod.
though.
I got a dad
That's
bod.
wrong. Dad bod, yes. That's
So
it.
here's what I think about assumptions really is we are literally holding our spouses to a past season. A lot of assumptions come out of a lack of trust if they've really changed. Right? And so I start assuming everything. So let's say you had a certain behavior and that was 10 years ago, and we got over that behavior, and we forgave one another, and we got past it, and it was a great moment. But because I don't fully trust the redemptive work that God has done in your life, I still assume the worst about you. I still assume, and this can even play out like this, right? Maybe your spouse didn't do anything wrong. But they just didn't do anything. So you started to assume that they're not going to do anything again. Like holidays. They missed a holiday. They missed a birthday. They didn't get you a gift when you thought. So instead of, saying something or being disappointed about what they didn't do, you just assume that they're not. So now you have let down your expectation and your wonder and your believing the best about your spouse. And really, you are playing out a false narrative, a false script in your mind, catastrophizing, and that joker, that spouse, they ain't even done nothing wrong.
Hasn't done it wrong yet, but you're projecting on them what's going on inside of you.
Talk about that.
It's called introjection.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
Projective identification is another term for it. So what I'm feeling inside, and I did this to you for a long time, I played down my birthday. all the time.
You did.
Because I didn't want to get disappointed. So I put on you what I was disappointed from my childhood, not feeling celebrated, not feeling like I was, important, or that means I'm not worthy to be the center of attention. I felt uncomfortable about that. So I sabotaged you being able to love me in the way you wanted to, which was loudly and extravagantly. You wanted to spoil me. But I'm like, oh, no, don't worry. Don't spend any money. That's too much. Wow. And I would literally sabotage my own, ability to get what my needs met.
Wow.
For you to romance me and blow my mind, because I was projecting the fact that I just assumed
and
that
so I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because you said it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, and I literally made it happen. I sabotaged myself. But I really, deep down inside, wanted to be celebrated. But I wouldn't let you because I didn't want to feel the hurt from being disappointed when I was a kid.
Wow. How many people are not even fighting verbally? I think this is one of those peace for the sake of peace. We think it's peace because we don't even want to touch the pain of being let down.
Yeah.
So we project on, it's not a big deal.
No, I'm good.
I'm good. And then, come on, that language. No, I'm good. You ain't good. You know you have an expectation, and now you are assuming that I'm not going to meet it. You are committing assumicide on our marriage. Not just on, and then you don't allow me to grow. It wouldn't allow me to learn. And so you robbed me one of the gifts that I have is giving gifts. It's a gift of mine.
You love gift giving.
I want to give gifts.
Yeah.
And what happens is, and when I'm trying to give a gift and you play it down like, oh no, I don't need anything. And I'm like, so is that true? And then it's like, do I believe that? And now I can't even be me because you've played it down to such a degree. And it's committing suicide on our intimacy.
Yeah.
You have needs that need to be met because we talked about expectations. But when I assume, so how do we move? How do we recover? How do we bring life to our marriage when it has struggled from assumicide?
Assumicide. So now there's groundwork. We both have a framework. We both have a rule here where we understand what assumptions do and the dangers of it and how the damage it brings to a relationship. Boom. So now that we have language around it, we call it out and we do it in a way that doesn't cause one another to be defensive. I love this
exercise.
Yep. So I ask permission first. I'm like, hey, babe, can I pick your brain about something? Can I ask you a question?
No, you ask, can I read your mind?
Can I read your mind? Because mind reading is a killer in a relationship.
Yes.
So
let's do it.
I'm like, yeah, Jimmy, can I have permission? Can I read your mind?
You have permission to read my mind.
Okay. I think that you think that I'm lazy when you get home from work and you see me sitting on the couch and I have the laptop on my lap. I've been working all day on content. But when you walk in, if I hear your body language sighing or, what have you, I make up in my mind that you assumed there would be a meal made or that you think I'm lazy. Do you think that?
Not at all. So let's pause right there.
Yeah.
What Irene did is she took back the power of assumption by asking permission. Can she read my mind? Yes. I think that you think. What it did is it disarmed an accusation. It disarmed the accusation. She asked. So number one, if we're going to, bring life to these areas of assumicide, is we're going to ask permission, right? So let's get back to what you just asked me. You asked that when I walk in the house, I'm mirroring, right? Do I think you're lazy if I see you on the couch? This is beautiful because this is a real thing, guys, that I can tell at times Irene's trying to figure out. Here's what I'm thinking. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you sure?
Yeah, tell me what you're really thinking.
What I'm thinking is my wife needs to rest, and my wife has chosen the common area to rest. I want a sandwich, and I wish she would just go take a nap in the theater room or go take a nap in the room. I don't think she's lazy. I just wish she would rest where she's not going to be annoyed if I make noise.
Oh,
look at that.
You're thinking. Okay.
Look at that, girl.
Gotcha.
Come on. Ask for forgiveness. Repent right now in the name of Jesus. Because I thought you was lazy.
Right. And so what that did for me is I'm preventing myself from resting. Like, I'm like, something's wrong with me. Like, why can't I rest? Why don't I allow? It's my codependency that I have to work on. And it has nothing to do with you. I got to own that.
How many of y'all do that? Listeners, you do it. We do it. I do it. We start making up stuff.
Yeah. What if you mind? Read my mind.
Do I have permission to read your mind for a second?
Permission.
I do.
Go ahead.
You're perfect, so I don't have nothing to say.
My gosh. What do you like? What do you want to? What do you think sometimes?
Let's see. Let me get a real one. Let me get a real one. I think that you think that when I am holding our adult son accountable, that I don't like him. I think that you think that the season that I struggled in expressing myself to him in a healthy way, I think that you think that you're scared that it's going to get unhealthy because I'm holding him accountable. That's what I make up.
So what do you have to ask me?
I have to ask you, like,
is that correct?
Is that what... true? Is that correct? Am I off? Am I assuming the wrong thing?
I think if I'm being honest.
Yeah, be honest.
Sometimes fear does rise up in me.
I'm a mind reader. I just want to let y'all know I'm a mind reader. I knew I was right.
That's not the case all the time.
Oh, so I'm right sometimes.
Because you have been more healthy
Yeah.
in your communication and more consistent. And I'm appreciating that about you right now. With our son, you've been so patient. You've been so attentive to the way he's wired. He's wired very much like me.
Yeah.
And so we can't take a whole lot of what we did wrong before you say what we did right.
Right, yes.
So you err on, I can make the generous assumption about that.
Yes.
You do better.
Thank you.
You've done better for a longer period of time than when you weren't healthy.
So listeners, I want y'all to really grasp this because this is why people are fighting. The first thing we did is ask. Number 2, we're going to accept the explanation as reality.
As the new reality.
That's the new reality. I'm accepting.
Ask,
accept. Ask, accept. I asked, do I have permission to read your mind? You gave me that. I'm going to accept that what you're telling me is true.
Period.
Because the first thing we want to do is says, well, I have evidence that that's not true. I'm accepting it. I'm going to ask. I'm going to accept. Thank you for telling me that sometimes you do think that.
Yeah.
You know what? And I accept that. And I'm not going to hold you to that. But I'm going to accept that you're going to do your best to give me the generous thought.
100%. You have my commitment with that. 100%. Because I do prefer to give you the generous thought.
That's
I prefer
so good.
it. And, you know, I appreciate the fact that you've given me an opportunity to clarify that.
Yes.
Because I do wonder sometimes, like, what's going on in your mind when you're disciplining Jaden and you're it looks to me like you're wondering and questioning if you have my support.
Wow.
And I just want to tell you thank you for bringing this up because now I have.
Yo, this is a real moment.
I know where this is coming from.
This is reality podcasting.
Yeah.
It was real.
You have my 100% support with the kids. It's our couple bubble.
Yes.
Nobody invades our couple bubble. This is Team Jimmy and Irene Rollins. And if the kids, whatever, anything else happening in our life can't invade our couple bubble, you have my commitment that we are Team Rollins. So I don't want you to feel that way. Does that make sense? I don't want you to feel like you're on your own in parenting the kids.
And I think one of the skills that you just showed our listeners is owning the gap. And when there is a gap, the next thing we can do, we can ask, we can accept. The next one I think is huge. You can assist. How do I assist? Because when I am thinking something, I need you to say, what are you thinking right now?
Yeah.
I'm assisting you and empowering you with where my mind is. And I love when you do this with me, when you say, listen, typically right now, I would go to a negative thought. Help me, assist me with being healthy in this thought.
Yeah.
Assist me in arming me with the information that I need to not assume so that we can be on the same page. Help me reality check. Bring me into your reality right now. We're going to ask, we're going to accept, and we're going to assist your spouse with equipping them and arming them with the correct information so that we can stop committing Assumicide.
That's right.
In our marriage.
Yeah. And I love, what does that look like? You have helped me with this numerous times We literally open our hands like this, and we take what it is that I'm assuming, and we look at it.
You look at it.
Is this real?
Is this real?
Is it 100% true?
Is it 100% true?
What I am thinking, is it 100% true? Can I honestly say that whatever it is that I'm mind reading you about, like Jimmy hates me, that's what I used to say. Jimmy must hate me because I felt like you had an attitude towards me. So I just made an assumption that you hated me. Is this true? 100% that Jimmy hates me? And I answer the question based off data. So the data is you have an attitude. I see your facial expressions, your body language, you're distant. Does that mean you hate me? No. So then I ask myself those questions. What if I thought about this differently? What if I went and checked in with him and asked him permission? What's really making you distant? Yeah. So that's how I reality check something.
Now then I can assist you with the information.
Correct.
That's so
that's
good.
How we eliminate assumicide, negativity in our relationships that the enemy wants to use to divide us. Wow. We check in on what we are assuming, and we take the power away from the assumption.
Listen to me. If you are listening and you are fighting in your marriage, we want to move from fighting in our marriage to fighting for our marriage. Yes. We want to have healthy fights. We want to learn how to have a good fight. It takes reality checking. And we're going to be working through these skills with you all live. I can't wait for some of our friends to join us on future episodes in this season of our podcast. I want you right now to subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Send this out, share. This stuff is hot off the presses, y'all. I'm excited about a book we're working on in our future. I'm excited about the Naked Marriage podcast. Guys, we are learning how to have a good fight in our relationships by reality checking. Episode 5, season 2. This was amazing. I'm going to assume that I handled that in a way where we can still get busy later on tonight.
Oh my gosh. Can I check in with you for a second? Can I read your mind? Is that all you think about?
Today.
Oh my goodness.
It's been a few days.
Okay.
I love you, girl.
Now that I know,
2
I
equals
will
1.
meet that need.
Oh, y'all hear that?
All right.
It was a promise.
All right.
It was a promise.
Yes, I will meet
You're
that
a promise
need.
keeper.
I love you.
I love you. 2 equals 1.
Next time on the 2 equals 1 marriage podcast.
My forgiveness is not conditional upon your behavior change. If you slipped, I forgive you. Because forgiveness breaks the cycle, not keeping score.
That's so good, Jimmy.
We want you to tune in to XO Marriage, everything XO Marriage. They can go to our website. Guess what? They can sign up for Mastering Marriage.
Yes.
Where they get 2 what?
2 coaching calls a month.
Wow.
An hour. You can sit down with your spouse and literally dive into just tools and get coached by Dave and Ashley Willis and Lynette and Sean Reed, and you and I do it as well. And we're all kinds of marriage educators who are going to help enhance your marriage, and just the tools that we hear about when we're listening to a message. You know, at a conference, somebody speaks, we're listening to a podcast, but to actually get live on a Zoom and practice and hear just it broken down into smaller incremental pieces that we can digest.
You can go to www.xomarriage.com to sign up